A responsible manager is a role that has been created for the purposes of financial services regulation. The best way to actually explain what a responsible manager is and the function that they serve is to contemplate how professionals credentialise themselves. So a lawyer, an accountant, a doctor, typically they credentialise themselves through a combination of their qualifications, a legal degree, a medical degree, plus their years of experience. And so you look at that and you get a gauge for how competent that person is as an individual professional. Most AFS licensees are companies. They don't have degrees and they themselves individually are made up of a number of people, so they can't really say that they have certain years of experience. So responsible managers are the people that ASIC looks to inside an AFS licensee as the person who will demonstrate that the licensee itself has certain competencies. So those people need to have certain qualifications, they need to have certain years of experience in order to demonstrate that the licensee can provide certain services to its clients. And they are persons who are named with ASIC, and if they change, certain notifications need to be made, and they have to have certain role in relation to overseeing the provision of financial services. And in that way, the licensee is able to say, we are competent to provide these regulated services because we have these people who have this experience and have these qualifications. The responsible manager requirement will apply to digital asset businesses if they are providing financial services. That will be relevant to future reforms for digital assets.
Responsible managers, from my background in traditional finance, are generally the senior people in an organisation that give the regulator the confidence that there is the requisite skills and experience within that organisation to operate in full accordance with the law, looking after the client side, looking after the regulatory side. An RM needs to have a blend of knowledge of the law and some hands-on experience. Now, for an RM, when you are running the business, it's not so much pushing keys and doing balancing. It is knowing how businesses are structured, know how they hang together, and what decisions will drive outcomes for customers and what decisions will drive outcomes for regulators, and where those things might be in conflict, and knowing to deal with that is the most important thing for an RM to be able to do. Yeah, so the interesting question on the digital asset industry really boils down to, I think it's RG 105, which is ASIC's regulatory guide on what an RM can be and how you qualify as an RM. And the consultation paper that has just been released doesn't provide enough clarity on how a digital asset company that's operating now can get its senior people who have operated in it for a long period of time across the line. So the most important thing for DCEs in becoming RMs and having RMs in their books is an open and frank discussion with ASIC about what is best practice within the DCE industry and what we have built as an industry over the last 11 to 12 years in Australia, and how that is applicable to the RM framework now. If I was to ask every chief executive or managing director or board, who are the best people to be running your digital asset exchange or digital asset services company now, and they will point to the executives and the senior people in their organisation today. They're happy with those people.
At the present time, it is relevant to digital asset businesses that may already be providing what we might call traditional financial services in a DeFi setting. So what might meet the definition of a financial service or a financial product as it is set out in the Corporations Act, but on the blockchain or in some blockchain connected fashion. So classic example, we've seen the block earner case. That particular service was determined to be a managed investment scheme. If it's a managed investment scheme, it's a financial product. If it's a financial product, it requires an AFS license. If you're a digital assets business providing that type of service, you need to have a license, you need to have responsible managers. Digital asset businesses need to recruit responsible managers to come into their businesses who have more recent TradFi experience to act as RMs. But those people have a lot of good TradFi experience, they have no digital asset experience. The pool of people who have both recent TradFi and digital asset experience is probably quite small.
It all comes down to who qualifies for responsible managers. Existing experience in an unregulated context won't qualify, and so we really need some innovative thinking around how do we grandfather existing experience in industry. There is a lot of experience there Just because it hasn't been garnered in the same way that we usually would anticipate doesn't mean it's not valuable and it can't be recognised.